Hi, David Brennan with the Sword of David. I'm here to talk to you today about what looks like Trump's war against Europe, the European deep state. We know that Trump has been at war against the deep state in the United States. But what a lot of people don't realize is that he's extended that war to the deep state in Europe that may very well have involved themselves in our politics. He's done it three different ways. One is, we all know that he is not going along with NATO's warmongering. NATO seems to be doing everything in their power to cause the war in Ukraine to expand. We know that several years ago, Boris Johnson from Great Britain stopped a peace agreement very early on that could have ended the war between Russia and Ukraine. There's been hundreds of thousands of people who have lost their lives since then. So Trump's not going along with that. He's just not going along with it. The other thing is this. You see a massive flow of gold back into the United States as the price goes up. Let me explain what's going on there. Trump is attacking Europe two different ways. One is with massive tariffs to have a level playing ground between the US and Europe on trade. But what that's doing, it's causing a massive amount of gold to flood back into the United States. And what that is also doing is putting massive pressure on the LBMA, the London Bullion Market Association, which holds massive amounts of gold, supposedly at least, for central banks around the world. And they have issued against their gold holdings 11 times the paper gold contracts than what they have physically. So what is happening is they're having a greater and greater difficult time fulfilling their contractual obligations because the moves that Trump has made is shifting to a demand of physical gold. And it's coming back into the U.S. There's been 2,000 tons of physical gold that has come back into the United States since Trump has taken office. That hasn't been the case. We don't even know if that's ever happened before. The other thing that's taking place, there's a lot of individuals who are in countries, for the most part, calling in their gold reserves from the London Bullion Market Association, the LBMA, which is backed up by the Bank of England. Now, you got to remember something about the Bank of England. The Bank of England is dominated by European aristocracy. And the European aristocracy has very likely been in cahoots with the deep state in the United States. So is this an attack by Trump against the European branch of the deep state? And I think it is. Those 2,000 tons of gold that have come back into the United States has put so much pressure on the Bank of England vis-a-vis the London Bullion Market, the LBMA, that whereas physical delivery of gold used to take them one day, that's how long it would take if you demanded physical delivery from the LBMA, and almost nobody ever did. They just did paper contracts. But if you demanded that, they could give it to you in one day. The moves that Trump has made has pushed that back to 8 weeks. Basically, they're in default. The way that they're handling it, and the impact it's having on the Bank of England is tremendous, but the way that they're now handling it, they're offering 16% interest to anyone who wants to loan them their gold so they can fulfill their contractual obligations. We have never seen people calling in, people and corporations and countries calling in for physical gold because the LBMA has been suppressing the price of gold. So the attack that Trump has launched against them is devastating for this reason. The LBMA, as I mentioned earlier, has about 11 times the contractual obligations of gold than actual physical gold. Where do they get those contracts from? The U.S. COMEX exchange, the exchange for gold in the United States. The LBMA has been issuing gold contracts, futures contracts. It's been very profitable to them in the Bank of England. But COMEX, now think about this. Think about what's been happening here. Trump is issuing tariffs that's causing gold to flood back. Trump has also said he's going to audit Fort Knox. All this is a plan that he's engaged in, but also COMEX is now saying they will no longer do any more contracts on gold for the LBMA, which cuts off a major source of revenue for the Bank of England, but also it eliminates the ability of the LBMA and the Bank of England and the European aristocracy to dilute the price of gold by issuing all these contracts. What they're finding, they're sitting on the short side of a massive amount of gold contracts, and they're finding it increasingly difficult to fulfill it. So is this a war by Trump against the European aristocracy who's behind the Bank of England, who is behind the LBMA? It may be, because we know that the deep state in the United States has been coordinating with the deep state in Great Britain in particular, but other countries too. Much of that was done in order to get around U.S. laws to be able to use the assets of the United States to go against President Trump. So listen, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll keep giving you some of these snippets of what's happening and how it fits in to not just the deep state, but from my perspective, from a Bible prophecy perspective, the deep state could very well be a branch of the New World Order. It almost certainly is. But prophetically, this whole New World Order may very well be the biblical beast kingdom that the prophets told us about. I hope you will subscribe. Let me keep giving you this information. I take literal perspectives on Bible prophecy that a lot of people are not doing today. But you need to hear the literal word of the prophets because it's fulfilling literally. I hope this has been informative. God bless you. And again, I hope you'll subscribe and hit that like button.